Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever applies to you. This is 35 millimeter life. And I'm your host, DJ.
cat.
And across from me is my super soaked co-host, Mike.
Super soaked
Super soaked co-host. I'm going to make you a shirt that says that.
Yes.
Super soaked co-host.
Oh, the shirt I'm wearing, it says grateful. But he thought it said something else.
Shifu. The way he was sitting, the way the creases in the shirt and stuff, I couldn't see the full word, and I swear it looked like Shifu, like Master Shifu, and I was like, that's a dope
He
shirt.
came in, Shifu. I was like, okay, no.
He's like, the fuck you call me? Was that?
Exactly.
Are we good? Was that 10 seconds out?
Yeah, we're at 50. That's the earliest cuss word we've ever had on this podcast.
That intro, by the way, for Patrick was very long.
That's okay.
Video.
The longest
Super
one
long.
we'll have is for Chef. Chef's is going to be long.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, we talk about
'Cause
some
we
stuff.
talk about some
Star
stuff with
Wars.
him,
Yeah, buddy, I'm down with that. I want to have him on the podcast again. He was a lot of fun too. Okay, so welcome to episode 36. We are going to catch up with Mike on this episode, and then we're going to talk about some steps to get. We've had a lot of requests for getting in, like starting a photography business.
Yep.
I have been having a lot of people, and I'm totally fine with it, but I've had a lot of people reach out to me in the last month or so. Hey, I'm looking to get my first camera. What should I get? Hey, I'm looking to get, what kind of photography should I do? Like all that kind of stuff. And I love these questions, and I love helping people out. So we're going to cover that today. But first and foremost, my main man, Mike.
Cool.
Sent me some pictures of his new, not new, but his.
They're pretty new.
They're new. Yeah,
this is October, so I shot the first one I did with the male senior. I don't normally I don't shoot male seniors, but this one was a really fun session. This was a very specific one from a mom. So she reached out to me. She was like,
Zion?
"Hey, yeah." He was like, "Hey, can you?" Or she was like, "Hey, can we find a backdrop that's like graffiti style, and can I also get some in the water? Also, can we have some outfit changes? Also, can you edit out his pimples?" I was like, "Okay, will do." It was a lot of requests from my mom, but I mean, you got to do it for the money. It's fine. You do your work.
So
and yeah.
So I just want to talk about these Zions really quick.
Yeah.
So these Zion shots right here. So there's three of them. There's 72, 54, and 9. I'm looking at 9 first.
Yeah, I'm looking at 9 too.
So the color tone and everything. So the blacks are blacks, the whites are whites. The shirt is a little hot, but not in a bad way. It's good because it throws them off a little bit. And there's like a little bit of a glow coming off him, so I assume you slid the clarity down a little bit to the left, like maybe like 5 or 6, which I think is great. It helps with the skin softening as well, especially if the mom said that he had a problem with acne, which I had a huge problem with acne. You can't see it because the glorious beard is hiding the scars, but they were there. I promise you.
Yes, this is the perfect
the
scar hider. Chin sock, yeah.
I love the golden accent on the necklace, which I think is a full Jesus on the cross thing. Yes, it is. That's
a story too. He wanted it because of his grandpa.
That's awesome.
So there's some significance to that, and just having it in a photo was like really nice to have.
I like that,
storytelling wise.
Normally, I'm not a fan of cutting off parts of bodies, but it works in this because you can see that it is arms. All you're missing is the elbow. It's not a big deal.
So the reason why I cropped it in two, I originally had it to where his right elbow was full and his left elbow was cropped, because that's how the shot was. So this is right by the river. I didn't have enough space to capture this whole pose. He's holding his hoodie. You'll see it in the picture right here. He's holding his hood.
It's like he's about to do this.
Yeah. So when I took the shot, it was cropping in on this elbow because I'm just too close to him. Yeah. I think this is a 24.
I feel like this is,
maybe a little bit
24
tighter.
to 70.
Yeah, that's what I was using.
No, I like that shot a lot. Okay, 54.
54. Getting there. I'm kind of curious. Oh, 54. So this is where I had to go find a graffiti wall, and this was like research for locations. This is in downtown Reno. Yeah. Right behind a tattoo shop. And I kind of got this serene moment where he was just kind of sitting there thinking, had his eyes closed and everything, looking up. Almost reminded me of like basketball.
They getting ready for the game? Yeah.
Like deep thinking.
It's got vibes like that for sure. Because you can tell he's not sleeping, like he's just in concentration, which I think is great because, and this is just my take on this. So he looks very peaceful and calm. Yeah. And then you have this artistically chaotic background. And that juxtaposition mentally there is really, really cool. Right. leading lines with the bricks and the road itself. The contrast between how the road is one color and then the graffiti on the wall, having the accent light on the wall, I'm assuming is a street light.
No, that's
the sun?
sunlight. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
This was during like sunset time, so
this I think was very well done in black and white, and you're using bottom left rule of thirds very well as well. So I really like this. And just so you guys know, like I'm not critiquing Mike like in any bad way. I just I like his work, and I really you guys know I want Mike to go full time with this because he absolutely can. I have zero doubts. So any feedback that I give him is always any feedback that I give any of you guys is always from a place of love, and I never mean it maliciously. If I say I don't like this, that doesn't mean it's bad. It just means I don't like it. It means that I don't agree with it. Exactly. And you could be like, fuck you, dude. Then I get it, dude. It's cool. Fine. But I want you guys to know, if you send me a picture and ask me for a critique, I'm going to give you an honest critique, and it's not going to be, I'm not going to sugarcoat shit because I want everybody to get better. I'm not one of those photographers that harbors everything. I want everybody to be a good photographer. If everybody in the planet was a photographer, I'm cool with it. I don't care. Because everybody's going to have their own clients.
Right.
Plenty of room. Right. Love that shot. 72. I do want to know which, are you allowed to say which roof that is?
Right behind Sizzle Pie and Pine Street Biscuits. So there's the...
Oh, okay. Because I recognize that
Discovery
building.
Museum and like on that rooftop.
The building on the right I recognize.
So it's like Chase Bank in that area. What used to be a Wells Fargo.
So with this picture, guys, number 72, this is really cool to me because there are so many leading lines in this, right? The mountaintops, right to the top of the head. The rails on the rail that he's leaning on, right to his body, both directions. The rooftop in the background, both pointing directly at him. There are so many leading lines in this. He is tack sharp. This is definitely a 2.8, I feel.
Yeah.
The only thing, and the sky, I like, there's no color in the sky, but I think that's actually perfect because the moodiness of the shot below is that sky is just, it's a contrast.
Yeah.
Only thing I would have done differently, not that there's anything wrong with it. The only thing I would have done differently, that security camera on the wall.
Yeah.
My eye keeps jumping to it because it's just a little black spot in the sky.
I see it. No.
But it's a security camera, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I would have removed personally. It doesn't mean the picture's bad at all. I think it's great.
No, I didn't even click on that. Well, it's because like I edited in bunches, so I was kind of scrolling through these pretty quick.
Oh yeah, no, totally. No, I love this. The bokeh is creamy and amazing. This is the 24 to 70 GM, right? The one you're recording this on?
Yeah, the only camera I have, or ones I have.
That's not true. You also have a 100 to 400 to 7200, a 35 millimeter.
I do.
You do.
I just ordered the Helios 50.
Yo.
So that's going to come in soon.
Yes.
I'm excited to use that
Dude,
thing.
That's epic. I'm this close to getting the 200 to 600.
Oh, you're going to need that for some sports photography.
I know.
But so that was the first senior session I had of October.
So I'm going to wait until the very end because I told you that I saw something that I really like about your stuff and I want you to stick with it, but I'm going to wait until the end because it's just going to be proof.
I kind of want to know what it is, but we'll go to Alex.
Do you want to show the Zoe ones on the podcast?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Zoe, he's one of my close friends. He's wanting to get into modeling. We did an in-home studio session. I bought one of these, what's it called? The paper backgrounds. Mm-hmm. I bought one of those from Action Camera. Shout out to them. Awesome guys. But it's pretty thin. It's not like the wide ones where I can get like really good full body without having to autofill with Photoshop.
I sent you a text.
You did?
Yeah. Is your phone not set up or is your computer not set up for text messages?
20.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I asked.
Yeah.
No, because I think they're really cool anyway.
Yeah.
Not often do I see that color backdrop. That's why I asked before too. But Alex, we're doing Alex, right? So
we're doing Zoe. We can do Zoe first.
Doing Zoe first? Okay, cool.
Yeah, because I think I shot Zoe before I shot Alex. Gotcha. So I went into an in-studio session. He's not a senior. I did do his senior photos back when he was at McQueen. But now he's in college wanting to get into modeling. These are a little risque, more so than what I normally shoot. But I was more selective on these. So normally I shoot like, in a session I can shoot up to 1,000 something, whatever. In this one I only shot 90 in an hour.
But yeah,
so very selective,
very meticulous,
very like strategic on the posing. What he had to do with his arms, what he did with his body, how he posed, where he was looking, directionals.
And I see two light sources.
Yes.
And they're aimed high because the shadow falls off on the bottom.
Yeah.
Right?
around his eye level
Yeah.
because he's 6'3", 6'4".
Oh, that explains it. Okay.
Yep.
So more, and correct me if I'm wrong. This is one of my favorite things to do, by the way, guys. If you send me a picture, I love like figuring out settings and lighting. I love doing that. It's so much fun. So this looks like 45-degree butterfly lighting.
Like one
coming in, eye level coming in.
Not together.
Where, because I can see his elbow, so one's a little more forward. Yeah, that makes sense. Because there's on 6, the elbow's hot.
Yeah.
So that makes sense that it's more on that side too.
Yep. So I wanted more of the background lighting. I didn't want a harsh shadow coming into that.
Right.
So that's why I had that lighting more focused on the background. And I had the front lighting more on this right side.
I think it's great, man. Number 6 is good.
And I really don't shoot studio very often. So this is the one that I was like, this is fun. Like, this is the one that hit me. Like, studio is also a really good outlet for photography. Because I like natural light, but studio lighting is just a different beast on how you set things up.
Oh, yeah.
Constant temperatures, like what matches where. Your settings are going to be a lot different. Because I was shooting, so the ones I did with Zion, my shutter speed wasn't going below like 500. In the studio, just to keep the ISO pretty. But
studio, you don't really need fast shutter speed unless they're doing something.
No, right.
The other thing too is when I told you the very interesting background choice color wise,
beige,
and on black and white that shows as well, because he's tan, he's a tan
he's
guy.
A Filipino, bro.
Yep, there you go, brown dude, and he in the black and white one, which is not true black and white. It is true black and white, but it's not. Can't quite put my finger on it, but it's slightly color toned. And
there's a hint of something, right?
There is, yeah. Like I want to say it's like a very opaque sepia almost.
Yeah.
Great choice though, and even though there's parts of his body that are the exact same tone as the wall behind him, he still pops off a lot because of all the shadows, which I think is great. The marks on the shoulder optional, like a choice.
Yeah, those are actual stretch marks
from like working out and stuff. So, but like leaving him in there for you, was that a choice for you?
That was a choice.
Yeah.
I did get rid of a lot of the facial scars because face is normally what they see, but this is just choice.
I think it's good because it tells a story about his life a little bit.
Yeah, and I was talking to Callie about it too. Shout out to Callie. About like getting rid of the scars, getting rid of the imperfections. Like, I know people want the perfect side of themselves when they see a photo, like especially studio stuff. Like, I don't want any pimples on my face. I don't want any bags. I don't want any of these things. Like, but this just shows like what you're going through. Like, you don't get these stretch marks unless you've been working out. Right. Pimples happen because of things.
Sure.
Like
stress.
So it's just a phase that we go through, and imperfections are what makes us humans. Like, I'm not going to generate everything to be perfect for you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to leave a little bit of scarring because it's not taking away from the story of the photo.
Oh, no, I agree. There's a saying that I came up with a long time ago, like, because when people ask me, especially because I have a lot of female clients, mostly females, can you make me look more skinny? Can you get rid of these scars? Whatever. And I get why you ask, and I will do it if you ask me to. For the most part, I'm not going to use a liquefy tool on you because if you're approaching a photographer, you should be proud of where you are at that point. But the saying that I used to tell people all the time is that imperfect is perfect.
Yeah.
Because if everybody looks the exact same, like if you got rid of the stretch marks, if you got rid of everything, if you like
tone out the abs, right?
Exactly. That is not him anymore, and how he is perfect to him. How he is perfect to his mom, his partner, whatever. That is perfect. Imperfect is perfect. There's no such thing as perfection. I don't care what anybody says, like, oh, this person's perfect. No, they're not, but that's what makes them perfect.
Right.
And that's Tron Legacy, right? He talks about, in the movie, he said, that's the thing about perfection is you never know what it is, right? Nothing in this world is perfect.
Right.
But that is perfect, and I love that. So I think this is great. So 6 is a solid. Oh, I found out something fun about Mac, by the way, and I'm very familiar with
Mac
products. Very familiar with Mac products, Apple products, but I found something kind of cool. You know when you click on a bunch of pictures and you double click and it opens up, sometimes it'll open like 2 different windows with like 6 pictures here, 7 pictures here, super annoying. If you highlight them all and you hit the space bar, it opens them all in one tab and you can use the arrow keys to go left and right on them.
Bruh, wait.
I'm not even. That's how I'm doing it right now. And you can do the same thing to videos. You can scroll through videos. Yeah, isn't that sick?
Learn something new every day.
I know.
That's cool.
I've been using Apple products since like 2009, and I just found this out like a month ago.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, so 17.
I actually really love this because the angle is just so unique. I think the way he's posed is different. It's not very standard for somebody to pose.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
The lighting is good.
Mm-hmm.
And this one too, I definitely know that the light is more directly in front of him too, because that dark spot on the wall in the bottom left corner, more shadow from him over here. But I guarantee there was another shadow just like that way off to the right off camera from where that light was hitting. Yeah.
And I think this too, there's a little, the background wasn't super flat, so there's a little curve in that.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why probably a decent amount of shadow came through there.
And let's see. This is also 2.8.
Yeah. I shot everything at 2.8.
Yeah. Because it's still tacked onto his eye like it's supposed to, but both of his shoulders are bokeh out a little bit, which is great. Love his hair, love the pose. Everything about it is fun. It is not a very common thing, like you said. True profile shots in a studio, they're not really done too often unless they're meant to be like moody or dramatic. But I think it's great.
I think if you're trying to get into a modeling thing, you can't have the standards. I think you have to kind of be unique in a sense on what you can do with your body and how you can pose it. Mm-hmm. So a little bit of this like arc feminine style pose, I think it's okay.
I agree. Like for you guys, for the models out there, amateurs, whatever, like getting into it, unless you're in fashion or like a magazine, glamour shoot, something like that, where a company is giving you stuff to model, you 100% have control over your own style when it comes to modeling as well. Now, the photographer might have a different viewpoint, but that's where you find a photographer that matches your viewpoint, right? Because as a model, you can still have a style.
And I'm super excited to have like models on the show that will go through like, I've worked with these photographers and they didn't match how I vibed, and I've worked with these and we fit like perfect.
Like Carly's episode is great because of that. And she gave us, and Carly, you guys, if you listen to the podcast, you've already heard it. If you're on YouTube, you'll see it later.
You'll see it later, yeah.
She doesn't sugarcoat anything. No. She's very blunt, and that's why I love her to death. So yeah, 17, great. Number one.
I also like the pose in this. I like the pose.
I love his hair, man.
The hair's crazy. So he just did that. Before it was just like a slick part, and then he just got a perm, and I was like, dang, this is solid.
It looks good, man.
Yeah.
I like that too. The accent of the jewelry.
Mm-hmm. We found out that was his good side. Because the other side more
scarred, or?
No, the other side, it's a little bit more round. It's not as prominent of a jawline, which is surprising.
You guys heard that term, like, get my good side? People have good sides.
Yeah.
Statistically speaking, I know this sounds really dumb, but statistically speaking, I believe it's a majority of the people, it is their right side, if I remember right from the thing that I read like a couple articles about.
I don't know. This is his left side. So.
It is his left side. But it's good side is good. Yeah. I mean, your good side can be either side, doesn't matter. But the majority of it seems to be the right side. But I think, you do have a good side and a bad side. But your bad side might not even be a bad side. My whole thing is a bad side. So Rose is going to be so mad when she hears that. So is my mom. All right. So then.
Yeah, very, very good. Like, I think the studio session was really good for me to kind of dial down and be meticulous. Because sometimes like in an hour senior session, you just bang, 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 go through the list. This, I got to sit down and just be very spot on, meticulous, like your hands a little, like an inch off of where I need it to be. So
it's the biggest benefit of being able to shoot inside of a studio because you have control over the lighting. It's a very controlled environment. You control every single aspect of it. Or when you're shooting like with Alex out in in the wild, or even Zion, like you don't have control of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I fully agree.
Yep.
Also, I was gonna see if you like later on. You don't have to do it right now, but like later on, if you want to share like full sets with me, I would love to see. I'd love to see those. They're really, really good.
Yeah.
So Alex,
I think I sent you 6 first. This is probably one of my favorite shots.
For Alex, I only got 3.
No, I sent you number 6.
7. 5, 6, and 7.
5, 6, 7. Yeah.
So start with 7.
I'm starting with 6.
Starting with 6. All right.
So 6 is probably, this is the one I was talking to you about last episode, getting in the water. This little creek that's right here has a perfect rock. You wouldn't expect this to be a spot to take a photo in because there's like no space to take this shot in. But we made it work.
That 24 to 70 though.
Dude, my favorite. That's why I picked it in my lens draft.
What's in the background? Is that a barrier?
That's the walkway.
Oh, that's that wooden path. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So everything about this picture is solid. I love it. The tones, everything about it. Only thing that I would have done, it's the same with like the security light, the bruise on her right knee.
I noticed that. This is just the preview shot. I haven't fully sent these yet.
Oh no, it's totally good. I'm not, like I said, I'm not critiquing you at all, just like differences. But the tone is good. I cannot wait to tell you what I noticed about these pictures and something that I want.
I'm
you to
so
continue
stoked,
to do.
actually.
What's with the 444? Did you ask her about it? The
I
tattoo?
didn't.
I think it's because I think it's really well placed.
Yeah.
I think it's small, so it's a little more on the quote unquote feminine side. It's dainty. It has to have some kind of meaning. I think it's really cool.
I was gonna ask her, but we were so like bang, bang, bang on these shots that I was like, it zoned me.
How old is she?
She is 18.
So let's see.
17, 18.
I'm trying to do backwards
Senior.
math. Well, because I'm trying to think, what if that means like April 4th?
Maybe.
2004?
No, I don't think so. It could just be a lucky number.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask her when she.
I'm curious. I think it's cool. I love tattoos. Like I fixate on tattoos all day.
Yeah.
I love 6. 6 is dope.
Yep. That was probably one of my favorite shots because the lighting is super soft in that because the sun started to set. It was such a weird spot to shoot it in, but to capture that moment was just like,
and
yeah, you know.
What is your ISO on that one?
600, 640.
Okay, that's what I thought. And that's a 282.
Yeah, 2.8, 640,
and
100, 1 over 500.
1 over 500. Okay. Yeah.
I want to shoot a little bit fast just to keep it tack sharp.
Yeah, because I can see the motion of the water. So I was gonna guess 250, but 5. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Cool. That's a good one. 7.
7. More of a explorer shot. Yes. Wanted to get the vastness of the background.
So this is a good example of adventure photography. We talked about that a few months ago. So Alex knows that's her. Her parents are going to know it's her. Her boyfriend, girlfriend, they're going to know it's her. Her family, everybody, they're going to know her. And that's great because you're using the background of Tahoe Meadows to kind of tell the story where she is and let it kind of paint a picture. And even though that's beautiful, she pops out, right? Because she's so different than everything else. Rule of thirds, followed again, very, very solid. There's texture in the sky. You can see the mountains. You can even see the texture in the trees, even though this is probably 2.8 as well.
Yeah.
The grass.
Love me a 2.8.
How could you not? Love the grass. I love that same kind of grasses in the Verde fields, especially at sunset. When gold cast. Love the shot. The look on her face where she had literally, I assume you just told her just to walk from left to right and you shot her. Because she's literally just like looking.
I love how you're breaking these down and it's like so spot on too.
I feel bad because like when I go to like a doctor's office or something, I look at a picture on the wall and I'm like, what are the settings? What I've done this
seriously? Yeah.
I do it all the time. I can't help it. So but I love this stuff, dude. It's so good. I love 7. It's super solid. I honestly wouldn't change anything about this one at all. And there's 2. Here's the crazy thing. There's 2 leading lines that I see in this picture too that maybe other people don't. So obviously there is where the grass ends and that brush starts. That whole dark line right there by the rock, that's one leading line right there. The other leading line, there's actually a slightly darker area where she's walking. It looks like it's a pre-trail. Somebody's walked through that same area. And that's another leading because that one leads right to the bottom of her dress. The top one leads up to like her shoulders, but they both point at her. And these are natural leading lines, and it's so good. Yeah. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
And then number 5.
Okay, this is more posed.
So number 5 is playful, kind of flirty in a sense. The pose itself kind of reminds me of like somebody that was looking off at the distance. Somebody's like, "Hey, Alex," and she just kind of turns and looks at him. The eye contact is solid. I like the no smile choice. I think it's good. Leading lines pointing right to her head.
Yeah.
Even the grass in the foreground is literally shooting out towards her, which is dope. Rule of thirds for the horizon line, which is where the grass meets the brush again. A little bit of sky so you can see what kind of day it is. You can see it's partly cloudy. There's a little bit of texture in the sky there too. There's just enough focus on the grass. You know that she's standing in grass and it falls all the way through. Jewelry choice on point. Outfit choice on point.
Yeah.
Super solid.
Stoked about these. Like super happy how these turned out.
French tip nails.
Dude, she went all out on these.
Yeah, for sure.
Stoked.
And for those of you that might have just judged me for knowing what those are, two things. One, I have a girlfriend. Second of all, this is something that I'll save this for when we talk about the business part. But there's a lot of things about photography that people don't realize that we go through. Okay.
Nails being done.
Dude, I love these. Okay. So do you want to hear my theme that I see on all these?
Hold on. I was going to say something. Now I can't remember.
We have time.
Oh, what I used to do in a lot of my sorry for the listeners if that was a kind of loud. I used to do this a lot in like when I was beginning in photography. I wasn't really paying attention to where the landscape was in contrast to the person.
Sure.
So a lot of the times I shot mountains where it was straight through the neck.
Right.
And that's no bueno.
No. You guys don't. What he's talking about, you guys never want to cut off somebody's head with the horizon.
Right.
You also don't want the horizon to. That honestly, that's really the only rule.
Choice.
You don't want to go to the neck, unless
the
only exception is just below the shoulder. If you have somebody that's wearing like a necklace piece that's for the company that the necklace comes from, that's okay because the lines lead to the product.
Yeah.
But for a portrait, you never want to do
I have one for you that I think is a good exception to this rule because I do cut off her neck, but the way her shoulders are positioned, the line falls perfectly through that.
So the other thing too is I want you guys to keep this in mind too when you're doing portraits. Wherever if you put a horizontal horizon behind somebody, wherever that horizon falls, it is going to naturally make that person look wider in that area.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have somebody that has a very, very tiny waist and you put a horizon down there, that takes away from their waist.
Yeah.
If you have somebody that is a little bit larger around the middle, like this guy, and you do that, then they're going to look even larger around the middle. So just keep that in mind when you get doing the picture. Nobody wants that. But having a horizon line is important. But don't be afraid to shoot like a little bit of a lower angle, have the horizon meet, somewhere on the midriff and the waist, that kind of stuff, right? So this one.
You can see that the grass kind of lines with her shoulders.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think this works a lot more though. If she didn't have her hand in the air, like if she was just doing this,
pose for me, DJ.
There'd be too there'd be too much headspace. There's no rule of thirds in this one with the horizon, but that doesn't matter. It's okay to do 50-50 on horizon lines.
Yeah,
depending on what you're doing. But there's just full breakdown of the picture.
Yeah,
cool.
Sure.
So
I'll let you have your way.
Yes,
this has been fun.
So get it. So leading lines again, top of the trees, straight to the head. Great. The bush line to the trees goes towards the shoulders. It's breaking down the body piece by piece, right? And then where the grass meets the brush, same thing. It breaks down from her bust down, and it separates everything into different locations. Now the dress and the grass, that's all linear. That's all one thing. It's all one texture for both. But then you get into, like, once you get from the midriff up, then it starts to get a little more playful. Even the hair in front of the mouth and stuff like that, you can tell there's a little bit of a breeze. There might have been a very light breeze that day, like very, very light.
I wanted to lean into that.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
If there's a breeze, lean into it, honestly, because you won't have that ever unnaturally.
Right. And the times that you wish you had it is never going to be there, so just embrace it. The pose is great because her left arm is not actually so far behind her head that you can't see it anymore, so you don't have the phantom hand issue.
If you don't, can you break down phantom hand?
Yeah, so phantom hand. So like if I were to do this,
pose it, and I can't see.
You can't see the connection between my elbow and my hand.
Dude. Oh.
And he goes to the gym, guys.
Yeah.
The purple gym. That's what you get for going to the purple gym.
I didn't stretch this morning.
So the first thing, when you take a picture of a person, generally the first thing that people are going to look at is going to be your eyes. Eye contact, that's the whole point. So in this picture, if I look at her eyes first, and then I usually, like for this picture specifically, because of her arm being up so high, that's where my eye will naturally go.
And it's really an open space, yeah.
Exactly. So plus she's looking that direction. So it forces my eyes to the left. There's her arm, and I go up until I see her hand. I'm like, oh, her, the hand position's really, really good. Go back down the arm, follow the other arm down. Then you get to the dress, the neckline right here, and that leads right back up to the eyes, and it just is a full circle. Now, you obviously take everything in, but that right there, that old Fibonacci style sequence right there, spot on and great.
Yeah.
Tattoos are good accent. The necklace is facing the right way. You don't see the lobster claw on the necklace. That's another thing, too. If you guys are wearing jewelry, make sure that it's facing the right way, okay? Because you can edit it out, but that's just one less thing for you to have to edit.
Right.
Super solid picture too. I love that.
And
great dress choice. I like the color with everything in the background too.
I think everything with the hands. I know hands are very hard to deal with.
Yes.
Soft hands. No, none of this. None of the high fives.
Yeah. No spirit fingers.
Yeah. We don't want these. Keep them soft. That's kind of what I told her. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Okay, I'm ready to hear.
You ready for your theme?
Yeah, I have a theme. Yay.
So every one of these pictures, every single one, with the exception of,
I know you said Zion. The rooftop
9.
Is that the? Oh, okay.
Okay, every single one except for Zion 9, has a film look to it. They all have high grain quality to them.
Yeah,
and I think that's dope. Everybody now doesn't like grain. They want low ISO, blah, whatever. You guys are going to remember all of the photography that he and I do was based on film photography. Mm-hmm. He and I are both also familiar with film photography. That's one of the things that you do as a photographer. You dabble in film, you absolutely should. Or buy a Fuji and do it that way, whatever. So all these pictures are of young kids, and they have an old school film to them. And that alone is super dope, dude. So I appreciate the graininess in your pictures. I think it's great. And it's just something that I noticed right off the bat. Like if somebody shows me a picture and they're like, look at all these pictures, and I see one that's got a high grain, and you're leaning a little more towards Bryce's style with less greens, with the warm tones, which I think is dope. I think it's great. Callie does the same thing. Yeah. I'm not saying you guys are the 3-year, absolutely not. But that warmer tones like that, absolutely. And I think it's great. But the grain, dude, keep that, dude. Even in the studio shots where you don't need grain,
just a little bit.
It's so good, dude. Yeah. I love it. So I definitely think
I lean into it more on Alex's edit versus when I did
Zion's.
I noticed. Because when I did Zion's, I was very meticulous because I wanted to sorry to the mom. Like I wanted to satisfy the mom. I didn't want to put too much of my creative juice in putting grain and being super filmy.
Who paid for the shoot?
The mother. So
right.
I got paid.
Got to make the clients happy, guys.
Yeah. And you got to do what, like, if they're happy with it and I'm happy with the edit, even though it's not completely where I was leaning into, I'm okay with it.
No, I agree.
So I did have like film qualities in the later we went onto the night just because of exposure reasons.
Absolutely.
And I leaned into those. But other than that, yeah.
No, I think they're dope, dude. I'm telling you, man, once this catches on, guys, go to his Instagram, check him out. If you guys are interested in portrait sessions, look him up.
Like, get me to 700 by the end of the year.
So
or 1,000.
So just
aim high.
There you go.
Yeah.
1,000. So just out of curiosity, how much do you charge for your senior session so we know what to?
I was doing $250 for an hour.
There you go, $250 for an hour, guys. Which, by the way, for that quality work, is severely underpaid.
And I normally go over an hour,
of course,
because it's fun.
Right.
And I guarantee 30 to 40 shots.
It's a lot.
But I always give more.
Guys, book him. That's a great deal.
Yeah.
$250 for an hour shooting with 30 pictures. Even Callie would, well, not Callie. Callie, you know why.
No,
you know I wouldn't say that. But
Bryce
Bryce would lose his mind if he heard that.
I think so.
100%.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, 100%.
I will be upcharging soon. So take it while you can.
Every photographer does that, guys.
Yeah. It'll start to change.
So speaking of, wait, is there anything else you want to talk about?
I wanted to talk about portrait locations because I know you're really good at that and you're very meticulous on where you go shoot, especially when you do your landscape stuff.
Yeah.
So how do you scout for locations? Do you just like drive around?
Honestly,
or like how do you go for locations?
So when I go to a new place, excuse me, like when I move to a new city or something, I will, especially now you can do this because everybody has GPS and all this kind of stuff. Oh, sorry. I found out one of my friends plays Rocket League, and I was like, "What rank are you?" He was like, "What's that?" I was like,
"Oh,
okay,
get out
we'll
of here."
Start there." Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, I will literally, I'll sit in my car, and I will play music, and I will just drive. I'll go down random streets. I'll do loops.
Yeah, I think Callie said the same thing to me because I asked her about one location. She's like, "Yeah, I was just driving around and I found this spot."
Yep.
And I know for photographers, like we can gatekeep some places so it's not oversaturated with photographers. i.e. Tahoe Meadows.
Oh, yeah.
It's an oversaturated spot. It's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
But if you want to be unique and different, you got to kind of explore.
You know, something that's interesting about that too, and I'll go back to your question, but something that's really interesting about that, Tahoe Meadows, Geiger grade, the lookout, oversaturated. Everybody does that. However, for the average person that takes a picture that we take of them there and shows their friends or their family, they're not going to know that.
Right.
We know that because it's our field. But the general viewer
Public,
isn't going to know, and which plays into it. But at the same time, as a photographer shooting those assemblies, you can still get burnt out. Even though this is our creative outlet, you can still get burnt out shooting these places.
Yeah, and you see other photographers post it, and you'll be like, "Man, I'm just like every other person."
Right.
And it's a comparison trap for some photographers. I don't mind like shooting the same location as others, but also like now you're just gonna compare like your work versus theirs and see how I think the challenge for me is how can you make it different? What location can I shoot in at Tahoe Meadows that's not going to be known to the general
Where
public?
everybody else is.
Like that little puddle.
Yeah, absolutely. No, exactly. The other thing too, I like to go onto Instagram and sites like that and look up, like if I'm like Portland, for instance, right? I looked up Portland shots. I was there with a local. Josh's cousin lives there. We stayed with him while we were there. I showed him the bridge shots that I was looking at. He's like, I know exactly where those are. I'll take you. And he took us straight to them. What I do is I like to look at other people's shots. And this goes with any art form, drawing, writing, photography. There is nothing wrong with looking at a picture that somebody took, going to the same location and trying to emulate that shot. Right. I'm not saying copy them, carbon copy. Because that's wrong. But go
like
there.
Like same editing styles and whatever and whatnot. Yeah.
No, exactly. Because if you're drawing, if you're getting into drawing, you want to be a tattoo artist, right? Even tattoo artists, when they're really, really young, everybody uses tracing paper. You're learning about lines. You're learning about shading. You're learning about, pressure, all that kind of stuff, texture. Same thing with photography. So Horseshoe Bend is a good example of mine. I saw Horseshoe Bend, a picture from Horseshoe Bend when I was a kid in a dentist's office, and it burned into my head. And I was like, that's great. Want to go see it one day. Ended up getting a shot because I just happened to be in the area and went to go shoot it, and I love it, right? And it's a very similar angle to what everybody else got, but I don't care. It was on my bucket list. I got it. Screw you. So
bucket list shots, you got to get them.
You have to. So I enjoy looking for overlooks too, that overlook a whole area, and they'll be like, oh, there's a road over there. Go there. Because I'll pull up Google Maps and I'll see these little trails and roads. I'm like, oh, this goes up to this point. This goes to that point. Photo pills helps a lot too, seeing where the light's going to be coming at different times of the day. So the biggest thing that I do when it comes to, I will fully research an area before I go there, new town or whatever. And then I will get in my rental car or my regular car, or if I have the option to, I'll also book a hotel in an artsy or like a really cool architectural part of the town and walk. The whole point though is to try and get lost. You're not actually going to get lost. Everybody has GPS now, okay?
Right.
Kane Brown, you're never going to listen to this because you're a super famous country singer. You got lost on your own property. That's your own fault. But for the rest of us,
that's true.
For the rest of us,
I ain't getting lost.
Right. I have GPS. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even now, if you guys didn't know, your phone, when you go out, as long as you have GPS set up before you end up going off grid and you lose signal, you still have the GPS to wherever you want to go. It still updates because it linked to the satellites now, so people don't get lost. They do that for free. It's on everybody's phone as long as it's a newer phone. And by newer, I mean like even 8. iPhone 7s and 8s still have it.
Yeah.
But just drive. Just drive and look at places and different angles, lighting. Think about different shots of the day, sunrise, sunset, even noon, that kind of stuff. That's what I do. When it comes to portraits, though,
see, portrait locations are, I think, a little bit harder because they're so. I think you got to go to those saturated spots because those are the money spots, mostly.
Because for my portrait sessions, I want to find an area that complements the model, but also I don't want to find a place that's so busy or like oversaturated or even like breathtakingly beautiful that it pulls away from the model. Because the model is always supposed to be the center point of it. Unless you're doing adventure photography, then it's the exact opposite. You want those holy crap scenes with your little person. But for me, I'm much more strict. Excuse me, with my portrait locations. My landscape locations, if I go, like I took a few thousand pictures on the week-long trip that I did to PCH. I got 12 that I liked. And there's a few in there that I could probably edit and maybe some people would buy it, but they're not up to my standard.
Right. I think what we should do one of these days, this is a trend that's been going around on Instagram. What we'll do is we'll submit a raw, and we'll have some of our followers or even ourselves edit the photo how we would edit.
That'd be dope.
So we'll
just kind of compare.
We'll submit a raw, one photo each, and we'll have people edit, see how they edit.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I like that. Because I definitely want to do more like these critique things on this too.
Yeah, this was good. It's kind of nice to hear perspective too, not just my own eye. And then when you get compliments from like other photographers, like it's fucking rad. Like I really love the shot.
It was super
Perfect.
rewarding.
Yeah,
super
love
rewarding.
it, dude.
Why? Sorry, I got a message from one of my clients.
Oh no, you're good. See, we're busy. We've
Always
been busy for
guys.
weeks.
Always busy. Okay, so
yeah, I think portrait locations for me is just like I have to drive around, try to be unique, I know the spots that I want to go to, like Vero. I know Tahoe Meadows is always popular.
UNR.
Tahoe, UNR.
And there's
Rancho. There's
nothing,
a bunch of spots. Nothing wrong with those.
No, not at all. And there's something to be said. You absolutely, as the photographer, because this is your work. Yes, you want to make the client happy, but part of that is just because the client says like, oh, this is a really cool location for portraits. No, this is a really cool place for landscape shots, but this isn't a good place for portraits. There is a difference, and you can't be afraid to try. You don't have to convince them or tell them. You can suggest like, hey, I think this location would be better for what you told me about. But at the same time, you have to respect their vision on the portraits, obviously, as they're your clients. But if you're doing TFP, then that's all on you, and you can go wherever you want because you're both getting free stuff. So, yeah, no, I fully agree. And I know I say this on like every episode. You and I really got to get out and just shoot, like just randomly, just get in a car and just drive around, take pictures one day, like on a Saturday or something.
Yep.
Especially now that before it gets cold, because there's a lot of really cool snow covered shots that I want to get.
Yes. Yep. We have the cars to go out, so
absolutely. We'll take my Subi.
Yeah,
your truck's
amazing,
but not great on gas.
No, no.
We can bring your Husky.
My what's it called? My truck has like a ghost tank, so like I'll drive it for a little bit, it'll go down, and then I'll sit it in the driveway, and then I'll just go back up. And I'm like, how did I gain another 60 miles on my tank? I mean, I'll take it. Free gas. Gas is expensive.
Very.
$5 a gallon. No. Kentucky's like $3. You want to move to Kentucky? There's nothing. I mean, there's probably stuff in Kentucky, sorry, for my Kentuckians. The Jayhawks. No, that's Kansas. Sorry. Again. What team is in Kentucky?
I don't think...
the University of Kentucky.
Rock, right? There's Little Rock is in Kentucky?
That's Arkansas.
Is it? See, I don't even know. But I know there's nothing in Kentucky.
This is why America is so bad at geography.
100%.
Yeah, we're the worst.
Okay. Well, I mean, I lived in Kansas and Missouri for 2 years. It's flat, dude. Like there's forests and stuff. And there are beautiful places, don't get me wrong. But for the most part, it's flat. And I found out that I cannot live in a flat state. Can't do it.
Me either.
I
got to Texas.
Oh, dude.
I got off in Dallas, Fort Worth.
Yeah.
I got off the plane. I looked around and I got anxiety.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because I was like,
it just goes.
I am not safe here.
I'm in danger. Yeah.
Literally.
That's funny.
You were going to talk about getting into the business.
Oh, yeah. So one of our listeners and viewers, Stephanie, she's an old high school friend of mine. She really wanted to know about this, and I just got hit up from another friend today about choosing her first camera. There's a lot of stuff that goes into starting our business, and this is a really cool topic that we can specialize in because I own my own business. I started my own photography business. I have several large clients, a whole bunch of little clients, international clients. I've worked very hard to get to where I'm at right now. I'm not tooting my own horn. I just, validity.
Yeah.
And Mike has the potential to be an amazing photographer if he ever finds the time to go full time with it for sure.
Right.
But he is still at the beginning part of this. So we have this really cool range of stuff that we can help you guys with. First thing is first, when it comes to your photography business, in my opinion, is you need to decide if you are going to be a landscape photographer or a portrait photographer or a product photographer. And there's a whole bunch of different areas. And I'm not saying you have to only be in that one area. But when you're starting with photography, you should focus on that one area,
right,
and then branch out. You don't want to do a whole bunch of stuff at the same time.
And I think when you're getting started, you'll know what you like and what you don't like. I think we talked about this before. Experiment, do all the things. Go out, do all the things. Do portraits with your friends.
Have to
go and shoot the landscapes. Do a real estate shot. Find a product that you want to shoot. Do all that, and then be like, hey, I don't really like real estate because of damn focus stacking bullshit. And
all the editing.
And then, I don't like portraits because I'm very introverted and don't want to interact with people.
Right. I don't like product photography, so they don't let me keep the products. Yeah.
Yeah.
All that
So
stuff.
then your landscape. There you go.
No, it's true. I mean, and think about
it is true though.
Think about medical school. Like when med students go through, I forget what exactly it was called. I have a couple medical friends that are going to yell at me for sure for not knowing this term. And I'm sorry, I'm not a doctor or a nurse or whatever. Which nurses, you guys are awesome. But they go through and you have to spend a certain amount of time in each different field.
Yeah, you got to be like a CNA for a little bit, and then you have to go into
right. And then you have peds, and then you have endocrinology, all this kind of stuff. You go in all these different areas because they want to see, you want to know these other things.
What you want to thrive in.
Do the same thing in photography. I compare photography to the medical field a lot. And again, for the 50,000th time, I'm not saying that we're as important as doctors or nurses. That's not what I'm saying. But there's a lot of similar ideology about it. You know what I mean? Like the constant studying and staying up with new techniques, the ability to be flexible, the ability to receive constructive criticism, the ability to be around people that are going to get you sick. There are a lot of similarities here. Learning about the different fields is the same thing.
Right.
So first, just choose one to focus on. Try the others. Totally fine. Because whatever you choose is going to dictate the first camera that you should choose. I know there's a whole, there's an episode you can go back and you can listen to it. We talked about different cameras that are good for different things. We can do a more in-depth video of that in the future for sure. I definitely think we should. Yes, Nikon will be on there.
Oh, best on the fields, yeah.
Right. Nikon will be on there. Yeah. Whatever. But that one will be just bodies. Because lenses, whole different thing. We could do one episode on bodies and one episode on lenses easily. Not even a problem, and they would be long episodes. But that'll help you choose. Don't pigeonhole yourself. Don't only do like I only do black and white film portraits. Great. You're gonna have a very small client base for a while, and when you blow up, you might get really, really big, and that's cool. But
chances are very minimal.
Exactly. Don't pigeonhole yourself into one specific little thing. Now, another thing too about my career, I had a full-time client. What I mean full-time is like he would fly me out to do 1 to 2 shoots with him a year for the longest time until he moved out of country. And he told me that he's like, your landscapes are really good, but I think your portraits really shine. And that's where the money is in his opinion. And he's a professional model as well as being an extra on TVs and movie shows. So I was like, hey, I appreciate that. So I started thinking about that. My dad, who has a bunch of my pictures hanging up in his house, said the exact opposite. He's like, there's nothing wrong with your portraits. I think they're great. I love looking at them, but your landscapes is where you shine. I think you should focus on landscapes. And I respect both of their opinions, right? Because my dad, while he's my dad, he's always supportive, of course. He has a very non-subjective view. He's very good at being, in the middle, being Switzerland, not being swayed one way or the other. At the same time, my friend who does a lot of portrait modeling and has worked with a lot of photographers says that I have a really good way with clients and stuff like that. But I also know that my product stuff is really good too. That's why people keep asking me for that.
You're kind of pushed into those directions,
it's
right?
Hard. Yeah, it's hard. And I do real estate too and stuff like that. But I've been doing this for so long that I like being able to dabble in these things, and that's great. But it's very hard for me to choose between landscapes and portraits. That's why I still do both.
Right. But it's like you started in one realm. Like I'm fully committed to being all portraits.
Right.
And I love that niche of photography. Not saying that I won't do a landscape here and there.
Because your landscapes are still really good too.
Yeah.
They're super solid. Yeah.
And I will go and shoot a landscape when I'm burnt out, because we are going to experience burnout in one realm or the other.
Absolutely.
But I think it goes back to like, hey, I've learned the basics of all these photography things. Like I understand what an f-stop is. Like I'm not going to shoot a landscape per se at a f2.8.
Right. No.
Like I'll shoot it at a f16, f22, and it'll make sense in my brain.
Yep.
But you won't know that if you're starting in the beginner level, because you're just like dabbling.
No, exactly. No, so we talked about this before. Your 1.2 to 1.4 all the way to your 5.6 is generally going to be your portrait area. There are lenses that are wider than 1.2, like there's a 0.7, all that kind of stuff, which is insane. But that's for a whole nother thing, so don't worry about that. But your 1.2 to your 5.6 is your portrait range. From generally going to be like your 6.3, 7.1 on is going to be your landscape stuff.
Yeah.
F8 to F11 is generally your sweet spot for most lenses, especially for landscape stuff. Just keep that in mind. Once you get past 14, you start getting star clusters. 16, they become very predominant. And then anything past 16, you run the risk of getting chromatic aberrations in your pictures, things like that, which are easily edited out, but just something to look for in the future.
So when even group shots, you'll be shooting in
exactly
like F8, F11, just to get everybody in focus. So,
and for that, when it comes to me shooting groups of people, I'll have them in a row, and generally if they're in one row and they're all on the same exact plane, I'll start at 5.6. If I add another row of people,
two stops.
I click two, right? So two clicks. So I'll go it'll be from 5.6 to 6.3 to 7.1.
Yep.
And then if you add another row, boom, you go to F9. Another row, boom, F11, right? And that just makes sure that everything is going to be attack sharp. So essentially, golden rule for me, every extra row, 2 clicks. 1 row, 2 clicks. 1 row, 2 clicks. To a point.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get to F11, you're good. Like, you don't really need to do it anymore. But at that point, you need to focus on the middle row when you're taking a picture. So if you have 3 rows, focus on the middle. If you have 2 rows, either one's fine. If you have 5 rows, focus on the 3rd row, so on and so forth. That's just me, though, for groups, weddings,
big rule of
family reunions, that kind of stuff. Especially with 95 people. Holy shit. Sound like a rager, bro. Excited for you.
Sick. It was sick.
TFP is something you're going to have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're super lucky and you come from money, you have a family name with it. There's a couple other more privileged type options that you might have growing up. If you're starting from nothing and you're just getting into photography and you don't have a whole lot of friends that are into photography at all, or a lot of model friends, you're going to be doing a lot of TFP, which is time for prints, trade for prints, however you want to say it. Essentially, you're working for free with a model. The model gets the pictures to use for the portfolio for free. You get the pictures to use for your portfolio and your experience for free as well. And I did this for over 2 years in Hawaii, which means I lost out on tens of thousands of dollars of revenue because everything in Hawaii is more expensive, because I wanted to focus and hone my craft before I started charging people a lot of money. Now, most of my clients, most of the models, they would, tip me, they buy me food, they give me cash because like, oh, it was really good. I appreciate it. Boom. And that's great. Cool. But don't be afraid to do that. There's nothing wrong with doing it. I still, to this day, every once in a while, if I have a really cool project that I see, I will still do it. Right. I'll still do it for free.
Same.
Yep. I'll ask for gas money now because gas sucks. Or I'll joke about, you owe me a meal, and then at the end of the meal, like, hey, where are we going to dinner? Or lunch, whatever. So yeah, TFP is another good way to do it. Word of mouth, lead on word of mouth. Avoid making a website right off the bat. It's a waste of money for you to do. You're going to be throwing money at this. If you don't have a client base that's actually funneling business to your website to get views, you're literally just wasting money. You could have the most beautiful website in the world.
It means nothing if nothing touches it.
If you have 5 fans, you're not getting there is no ROI, return on investment for that. Mm-hmm. So just for me, wait on a website, or don't have a website at all. Build an online portfolio on SmugMug, Instagram, Vero. What was the other one?
Daily,
right?
If it ever blows up, yeah.
If it ever blows up, which we should get on now.
Maybe.
Who knows? Carry an online portfolio on your phone. If you have an iPhone, you can make albums, and it can be like I have right now. I have one for weddings, one for portraits, one for landscapes, and one for cars, all ready to pull, and one for boudoir. So just do it that way. Carry it around. It's the digital age. The generation that wants a physical portfolio is not really in charge of things anymore.
Yeah.
So we're getting into the more like technical part now. Do not overbuy in the beginning. Don't buy a Bugatti of a camera if it's your first time.
Yeah.
Start with a Rebel. Start with an Olympus OMD. Start with something easy.
Canon
don't start with Olympus OMD. It's not easy.
Sony A6000.
So yeah, start with a Sony A5500, 6000. Great. Start with a bridge camera, right? Start with a bridge camera. You have your Nikon P900, 950, P1000. You also have your Canon version, same thing. All in ones. The lens doesn't come off. Learn the basics. For me, my business model has always been that I will not buy a new piece of equipment until the one that I just bought has paid itself off. Mm-hmm. The exception to that was when I switched to Sony. I didn't have a choice, but all my equipment has paid itself off at this point. So you buy a new lens, buy the 24-70 GM2, the one that we're recording on right now. It's like $2,600, right? I won't buy another lens unless I absolutely need it, or have enough. And which one wedding will pay it off. So as soon as I book a wedding, boom, that one's paid off. Bam, I can buy something else. It's just that way you don't overbuy, because you'll end up buying lenses you don't need. My macro lens, I still have my Canon macro lens because it's the best one I have. I haven't bought. Sony has a native 90,
but you won't need to buy one because you haven't.
And to be honest, Sony, I hate to say it, but your 90 millimeter is not as good as the Canon.
I think we've said this.
We have, and come at me if you want, bro. But
it's okay.
I'm telling you. Yeah. Sony's like, we were going to sponsor you, but now you're a piece of shit. So, but I just got to be honest.
But please still sponsor us.
Yeah. Be alpha.
alpha.
But be more alpha and make a better macro line. I'm trying to think of other stuff too. Don't overbuy. Lean on your friends.
Yeah, I think that's a big one. Ask around. Like,
yes,
even if it's just for fun, like just bring your camera places.
Oh yeah,
you have a party to go to. Bring your camera. Shoot that a little bit. Why not?
And don't be afraid. Like you said, don't be afraid to ask. You are more than welcome to message either of us on any of our social medias. Text us, call us, email us. We don't care. Ask us to help you make decisions if you want.
Right.
Now, again, you don't have to listen to what we're saying. You're just asking our opinion.
And it's a very interesting position because of where we're at in our professions.
Right.
So being a younger, not younger, but like not, I haven't been in it as long. So I'm still kind of learning the ropes. So I can learn with you and like we can learn together.
Sorry, she attacked my hand. Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. And Mike knows that he could come to me for anything at any time, and I'll always help him. Like, even if it's a photo shoot, I'll drop everything, come help you out.
Literally, when he said I think it was was it this episode? The last episode? I don't remember.
Excuse me.
Where he said, I have like a 35 and I have a 70 to 200 and I have these, is because I have a friend like DJ that will help me and let me borrow these things.
Absolutely.
Find people that will let you test this gear out. I think you did the same with Callie. Like, this cat's going nuts.
Yeah, I gave her my Sony and it was mind blowing.
Right. So it's like, hey, these trade offs. Like, hey, let's can I borrow this thing? Let me test this out.
Right. Now, obviously, keep in mind too, and this is not direct.
Relations,
I fully trust you. Relationship is important, but be fully prepared to replace whatever it is if you break it.
If you fuck up and you drop the lens.
No, exactly.
Crack
If like I don't care if she hears this because she knew we had the conversation. My sister wanted to borrow my camera for Hot August Nights. She has a camera. Mm-hmm. She has one of those Instax, and she has something else too. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, she wanted to borrow one of my Sonys to shoot, and I was like, okay. I was like, just so you know, I was like, my A7 IV cost me $2,600. My A7R5 cost me $4,000. So just so you know, she's like, well, I'm just asking to borrow, not to buy. I was like, I get that, but if you break it, guess what you're gonna do?
Buy it.
Right. And she's like, and I was like, okay. Well, and I wasn't trying to like talk her out of it. She could borrow it, but she just needs to know that she's going to be in it for that much money if she breaks it, because this is how I pay bills. This is how I keep the lights on. This is how I put clothes on my back. This is how I put food in my kid's belly. So, it is what it is. I completely trust Mike, but just know that if you're going to borrow something, you're going to pay for it.
The solution is paying.
And if you don't have a friend that you trust, look to your local camera store. If you live in Reno, go to Action Camera.
Yes.
Action Camera has an amazing rental camera service. Lenses, cameras, flashes, tripods, stands. You can rent Aaron. You can rent Aaron Harris if you want to. He's a very cheap guy for that.
Love you, Aaron.
I love you, Aaron. But don't be afraid to ask for rentals too. I don't know if I need to check it actually. Mm-hmm. There used to be an online rental place. They would ship you the piece. You know what I'm talking about? They would ship it to you. You'd use it, ship it back, and it's great. It was literally like GameFly, but for camera stuff.
It's not B&H. I don't know if it's B&H.
No, I get it. If we find the link, we'll put it up right here.
Yeah.
If there's nothing in my hands right now, then we didn't find it. Sorry, but it used to be there. I'm trying to think of other stuff. Learn editing.
Yeah.
You have two options: learn to edit, or go on Fiverr.com and find somebody that is going to be your editor.
Oh gosh.
Because if you don't want to edit, that's fine. But even people that have made Playton, good example.
He has editors,
He has a whole staff, but they edit exactly to his numbers. Exactly. And he is in control of every little thing. Now, if one thing is wrong, they won't put it out because it's not to his standard. Find people like that. They are going to be expensive. If you have an editor for your photography, expect to pay up to like about 25% of what you're making or more. And most people have to account for that when they're charging.
But it's really nice just to learn the craft yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Like, learn it first. Find out what your style is. Understand what each slider does. Like, what does the exposure slider do?
Yep.
What do my tones do? How do I adjust mid-tone colors? What's the difference? What does that even
temp
mean?
and tint?
Yeah. Understand all those things. You'll find your style eventually. I didn't find my style until shooting this for 5 years.
Yeah.
And I just am now getting to a point where I'm happy on what my edit style is.
No, I agree.
So I'm like, it took me 5 years to get there. Like, I've had to go through the ring of edits. And I think every photographer has gone through the ring of edits.
You have to.
Oversaturation, undersaturation.
Color pop.
Dude, bring it full circle. Black and whites. What else is there? Yeah, that oversaturation period. But
That's a big one. That's
vignetting, non-vignetting,
steel wool,
all
painting,
those things.
yeah.
Go through the ringer, man. It's time consuming. If you think photography is like hit it and quit it, like
it's
I
not.
take the shot and then that's it.
Right. Oh, out of camera's good enough? No.
No,
Especially if you're shooting in RAW. Oh, that's another thing.
shooting raw.
Yes. If you are going to if you're going to start your own company, stop shooting JPEG.
Shooting raw, yeah.
The only exception that I will condone personally, that I'll put my stamp on, is if you're doing a high number of sports shots, not wildlife. Because I know people are going to be like, well, you take a lot of pictures of wildlife. Not wildlife. Sports only. If you're shooting a lot of sports pictures in a controlled environment, like I do rodeos and stuff, and that kind of stuff, which reminds me, actually, I have to talk to you about something.
Okay, cool.
If you shoot something like when I go do my rodeo, sometimes I'll shoot like 7,000 images.
Yeah.
The lighting doesn't change in indoor arenas at all. Once I find a good setting, and I shoot in JPEG to save space, because I'm still going to edit to a point where the clients are going to like it. But when I do wildlife, I still shoot in RAW because there's more to it. But for sports, the general idea is you're focusing on that person, a little bit of background. So pre-cooked JPEG, totally fine. Shooting in JPEG, but shoot in RAW. If you are going to be taking pictures of people, shoot RAW.
You can recover so much data.
So much stuff. There's so much more. And don't be afraid, Shannon, this is directed at you. Don't be afraid to take the pictures off of your memory card and put them on a computer and a hard drive to back them up. She still has photo shoots from 4 years ago.
On a memory
the
card?
Same memory card.
No.
Yes.
I can't.
And it
gives me anxiety.
My hands are sweating thinking about it.
I'm like, how much space do you have on a memory card?
Oh, she has big ones. She has like 512 gigs.
I can't.
She has big ones.
Mine fill up quick.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Well,
if I'm running gunning on a shot, it's just like...
She does very particular portrait sessions.
Okay.
She doesn't do sports. She doesn't do weddings too much.
It's just straight
or landscapes.
portrait, yeah.
Right. So she's able to have like, it's a couple hundred shots per.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it's insane. I love you, Shannon, but we've talked about this. You got to trust your technology.
I got my hard drive right here.
Yep.
A little lacy.
I have one hard drive at home, 3 terabyte, and I have 3 2 terabyte hard drives that are in my backpack right now, and all 3 of them have backups of my pictures, my car shots from Nissan, and that's it.
Yeah, this is a 5 terabyte, and I have RAWs, I have edits, I have podcast episodes, I have videos. Everything's on there. So that doesn't stay in this little thing.
No. Keep your clients' pictures for a year as well.
Then you can get rid of it, yeah.
Because after a year, I dump them. If somebody wants me to go back and look for pictures, I will, but I do charge an archival fee. And what that is sometimes I have to spend an hour looking for your pictures. I want this one picture. I have to find that one picture, and then I'm more than likely going to have to edit it again if I don't have the edited version. Yeah. So your archival fee is literally me stopping my entire day to search my hard drive to find a picture for you to send back to you, which I don't mind doing, but you're going to pay for it, right? I gave you the picture, you lost it, that sucks. I got you, I have it. But after a year, for the most part, unless it was like a really stylized shot, I'll usually dump it to save space. So just keep that in mind.
But yeah.
Also, don't be afraid to charge for fees like you're supposed to. Tack on a miscellaneous fee for equipment maintenance and upkeep.
Mm-hmm.
And set that section of your money aside so that when your camera goes down, you have that pile to pull from to buy a new camera.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's completely normal. Licensing fees. If you want to print your own pictures, that's fine, but you will pay me for them because I also offer printing services. And if you don't want to go through me through printing services, that's fine. If you're going to print it on yourself, you have to buy a release for me that I can give to you so you can go to Walgreens or wherever and print them out because they're not supposed to print it out without that release. There's a copyright law here in Nevada of $30,000 to $300,000 per image that you can be sued for. Do not play around with it. Make sure there's a paper trail, which is why I always ask for money. Weddings are a big price. Photo shoots are a smaller price. Product shots are actually really huge because you could just take a picture that I took. This one's great and use it. No.
Yep.
So if you want release rights, you have to pay for it. Just prepare to ask for that and prepare to give that if you're the model. I think that was everything. Don't overbuy.
That's a good rundown, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot more.
Don't
be afraid.
More, yeah.
Don't be afraid. Be confident in your work. I posted that thing on Facebook. There's a difference between confidence and cocky, right? Aaron. So confidence is nothing wrong with
badass.
And he is.
Repost this.
Aaron is one of the most humbly cocky guys I know. He's loud, he's boisterous, he's very to the point.
Yeah, but
his work backs it up.
Yeah.
His landscape stuff is out of this world.
Money,
I like his portraits too, but his landscape especially. This man has mastered monochrome.
His monochrome Mondays are.
Aaron's monochrome are if I have I have a lot of photography friends. I would buy Aaron's stuff.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. There was one he just took of a little cabin out in nowhere, Nevada. I don't know.
Oh no, I know exactly where it is actually because
that thing is
he just discovered
beautiful.
this place and he loves it.
Yeah, I asked him about
and that's
it.
with his new camera.
And I was gonna go talk. I was gonna try to find that for a portrait shoot. I was like, "Ooh, this would be fun." For
I know the location if you want me to tell you.
Yes,
I'll tell you off camera.
Off camera, gatekeeping.
You have to subscribe to my OnlyFans to figure out what I just told him.
Yes,
I don't have an OnlyFans.
you can subscribe to mine.
Did you know that OnlyFans started as a non-sexual site?
No.
Yeah, there's people.
Wild.
There's still people now that have an OnlyFans. There's photographers that have an OnlyFans, and it's nothing sexual. You pay to see their content and have their pictures.
What if we do that?
It's like Patreon, but
35 millimeter life.
now
OnlyFans,
it's dirty.
But it's not dirty.
Only
It's
films.
just us.
We'll call it OnlyFans.
Only films. When did we had a joke about that early in the podcast.
Hoodie? Oh.
No. We had a joke. Yeah, he'll wear it one of these days.
I will. I just got to make sure it's just ready for it.
That's funny. Yeah, I think that's a really good rundown.
I think so.
And just know that some people will blow up in a year, some people will blow up in 5 years, some people will blow up quicker than that.
It takes a long time.
10 years. It takes time.
It does. I do have another thing actually.
Mm-hmm. Stop it.
Sorry. Be open to constructive criticism. Don't be afraid to ask for help. That kind of stuff.
So that's a good thing that what we just did the last 2 episodes, looking at each other's work. Like I asked DJ questions like, why did you shoot this aperture? Was this a personal choice? Like all these questions. He did the same with me. Don't be afraid. Like, it's an art form, and you don't get better at art unless you're getting critiqued on it.
Exactly, because art is, what's the word? I used to say this all the time. Why can't I think of the word? Art is subjective. Nailed it. Art is subjective.
Better words. I don't even remember the first one we struggled on.
I'm a wordsmith.
Yeah.
It really art is subjective. Yeah. So just because like there was something I would have done differently in his picture, it doesn't mean it was a bad picture. It's still a great picture. In fact, even if I did what I would have done to his pictures, it doesn't mean they'd be better. It'd actually probably be worse because it was his picture. So don't be afraid for constructive criticism. You're also going to deal with petty clients, whether you're a landscape photographer or a portrait photographer. You're going to deal with bad clients. Get over it. You got to deal with it. Mm-hmm. I meet with my clients beforehand when we're talking about like, oh, we want to shoot your wedding or whatever. I meet with them ahead of time because I need to know if we are a good match for each other. If we don't mesh, if we don't have a good vibe, it's going to show up on the camera. And I've turned down wedding clients before, not because they were bad people.
We never worked together.
It wasn't. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't going to be. Yeah. But that's because and I know you do too. I put the quality of my work and my craft before the money that I make.
Oh yeah.
I will not sacrifice one for the other. It's not going to happen.
Right.
And that's something else you have to do too. Quality over quantity. You have to be. This is my biggest thing, and then I'll shut up. I promise.
I don't want you to. This is gold for anybody that's starting. So
I should be charging.
Take this all in. Yeah, seriously, we'll put this on a Patreon or something. OnlyFans. Yeah, there we go.
Episode
36 only lives on OnlyFans. Just the last 30 minutes. The first 30 minutes is okay.
Our OnlyFans will be 35 millimeter pipe.
Going in like Mario.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Imperfect is perfect is something I always say. But the other thing that I always say too, and I want you guys to really think about this, as a photographer, whether it's landscape portraits, whatever style, it doesn't matter what it is, you need to be your own biggest fan as well as your own harshest critic. Thanks. What I mean by that is you need to be confident in your work, not cocky. There's a difference. And like I said before, difference between cocky and confidence is how many people you tell. I'm very confident in my work. I don't have to tell anybody about it. My work speaks for itself. I'm confident. If I go around bragging like, I'm the best, car photographer, blah, would I work for Nissan? You're trash. That means I'm cocky and I'm going to lose. Even if I am good, I'm going to lose people that are good because they're not going to want to hear that all the time. So be your own biggest fan, know what you're worth and charge what you're worth. And don't be afraid to ask for it. If somebody says, oh, well, this person can do it for 100, then go get it for 150. I hope it comes out great. I know my work is worth. Don't be afraid to ask for that.
Right.
You also have to be your own harshest critic though. And just because you took like I said, I probably have like 25 decent pictures that I could put on Instagram that would have good engagement. I'm not going to though, because they're not to my standard. Mm-hmm. And by my standard, I know my fans like, wow, fans, I hate saying that word, followers, clients.
Sure. Yeah.
You guys know I'm not a braggy person. people that like my stuff.
Our 35 millimeter to life peoples.
Exactly. You guys.
The 35ers.
The 35ers. I like that. 35ers. Yeah. That should be one of our merch. I'm a 35er. Like, what does that mean? If you know, you know. Yeah. But yeah, so know what you're worth, charge what you're worth. Don't be afraid to tell people what you're worth in a good way. And don't just because you took a good picture, don't put it out. Like, make sure that it's to your standard.
Yeah. You will be denied clients because of your pricing.
Correct.
I've told people my wedding prices and they're just like, no.
No, exactly.
And I get it. Like, it's tough, but also I know what I'm worth now.
Like, I had a friend that asked me to shoot an event for him a little while ago, and I was like, absolutely. And I told him the price, and he's like, yeah, that's out of range. I was like, I totally get it. That's totally fine.
Right.
We're still friends. We still hang out. We're still talking all the time. They just know that I charge that for this very specific reason. If it's out of your range, it's out of your range. It's cool. And, you know, I hope they still got great pictures, and I'm sure they did.
And we can say exactly who that person is.
I wasn't going to do that, but if you want to. Mike asked me to shoot his family reunion that he just had. And I told him what I charged for an event. And it's out of the price range. Totally fine.
And it's totally fine. Yeah.
Absolutely fine.
No disrespect. Honestly, he's charging what he's worth. And I understand that. Fully understand that as a photographer. And if it's out of the budget, it's out of the budget.
Right.
And you'll find a way around it. If you really want photos for an event, you'll find a way around it.
Absolutely. And I love Mike to death. I literally love this dude to death. But I don't do discounts.
Yeah.
Because I still got bills to pay.
Right.
I don't do discounts for anybody at all. And when if I talk to a client and they ask me to give them something for free, I will cut it off right there. Like, and if they don't respect that, then I'm not going to be your photographer.
And I think that's why we're still friends. I totally understand the.
Oh, 100%, absolutely.
I understand this realm. So
I'm only upset that I didn't get invited to the thing anyway. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
It's just. You were party crashed by a Korean. You could have been party crashed by a white boy. But at least I would have had validation on why I'm there. Because I know you and I know a couple of your cousins. You know what I mean?
That's very true.
And apparently I might even know one of your aunties. I don't even know.
Could be.
The lady from the car?
Yeah.
I'm going to get her name and be like, what if she is one of your family members? Dude, I will lose my mind.
She's a Villanueva, and I'm like, I've never met her in my life. There's a lot of Villanuevas.
There are. Oh. And there's a decent Filipino community here too. Reno and Sparks, if you guys didn't know, is now predominantly Latino.
Yeah.
And there's a huge Filipino community here as well. Surprisingly, not a lot of Filipino restaurants, though.
No, there's only a couple.
There should absolutely be more.
There should way be more.
Oh, so good.
But yeah, it's not that I was unhappy that we couldn't book Dejay, but it's also business.
Right.
And I understand that.
And the fact that he came to me was like, I was super honored. I was very excited and everything. But again, it's, you can't be offended if you can't do it. You also can't be offended if they can't take you on. I've had family that have asked me to do stuff and I'm like, oh, this is my price. And like, oh, it's out of range. Okay, cool. We're still family. I still love them. I still go and hang out with them. I still have dinner with them. Right. It's business. That's another thing too. You need to be very careful about doing business with family and friends.
Very. Because
I'm not even kidding. I have lost a lot of relationships in my family and in my personal life, like friend wise, because of a myriad of differences. And I mean like full on fallout, like not even Facebook official anymore. Don't talk anymore. Even talking shit behind my back. I've had a lot of it, but the thing is, I don't give a fuck. All right. I offered you something. Cool. I gave you something. You didn't like it. And I told you I could fix it. We could try and do something different. And you said no. And you want to burn that bridge, dude? Cool. I'm down.
Yeah.
I don't even Rosa has been like, I can't afford you. And I'm like, you're my girlfriend. Like, you know what I mean? She's like, shit, but I'm still paying you. I was like, no, I get that. But she's like, I can't afford you. I was like, all right, it's cool. She has friends that are having weddings coming up and, you know, baby bump pictures and all that kind of stuff, whatever. And I was like, well, I can do these. And she's like, oh, I can't afford you. And I was like, the offer's there. You know, if you change your mind, I got you.
Right.
But I love this woman. I might get married to this woman one day. Who knows? Still not getting a discount. Sorry.
It's a harsh reality, but it's how we have to kind of carry ourselves.
And I mean what I said, guys. $250 for senior portraits and you get like 30 pictures. Dude, book Mike all day. Also, there's not one season for senior portraits. No. If you're a senior or even a junior that's about to be a senior, you can do senior portraits. They don't have to be done at the end of the year. They don't. Absolutely not.
Get us in a non-busy time. You'll get more. You'll get better photos. Yeah.
And you can. And if you get in I love senior portraits during the winter because there's not a lot of them that are done. My schedule is pretty much open. My winter months are slow. Winter months for me are mostly landscapes, and I love doing winter portraits. snow, right?
Oh
yeah.
You
Or
can get really creative with it. Yeah.
exactly. And something a lot of people don't think about, cold air is so crisp. It's so clear. There's no heat lines. If you use a telephoto lens and you zoom way out to something on a warm day, the distortion from the heat waves actually messes with the picture. But that doesn't happen in the cold.
Right.
Winter's a great time to shoot, guys. Soft lighting, right?
There's a lot.
There's so much stuff.
You get natural reflection from the snow because it's all white.
Oh, especially, dude, nighttime winterscapes. Oh my God. All right, that's it. We're going to Tahoe.
Yeah.
We're going to Tahoe. We're doing it right now. So
yeah. Oh, we just had an OnlyFans moment together.
We
Turn off the cameras.
Just saw the O faces.
Yeah.
How fun.
That's what photography does to us, okay, guys? I can't help it.
Can't help it.
We get horny for photography. I don't know if that's a proper phrasing.
I do. I get rock hard for Sony.
Except for the 90 mil.
I just heard like 13 of our listeners go, and done. So
yeah, goodbye.
Goodbye. The last episode ever. So this is episode 36.
Yeah, dude.
We only have 16 more episodes until we're done for the season, which is good. Thank you. We have you guys. I just want to touch bases right now too. We're coming up on 1,000 downloads. I'll be honest with you, that's like 950 more than I thought we were going to get the entire time we're doing this. We're literally just doing this because we love photography. If we help a couple people along the way, 2 people, great. 1 person, cool. If it's nobody, we're just 2 dudes hanging out.
And I've heard that too. I've heard like we're funny, and I'm like, I'm funny.
Yeah, right.
I'm just talking. I swear.
You know, I listen. Now listening to my voice in here too. When I talk to people, I make sure that my voice sounds better. Because and this is something I've been doing. I've been meaning to tell you this. When I drive from my house to here, it's only 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
When I drive from my house to here to record these, I play music in the car and I sing. Whether it's on key or not, doesn't matter.
You just sing.
But I use it to warm my voice up so that I can get ready.
Maybe I should do that.
It's a lot of fun.
Like, what if I just like middle scream?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. So we were talking about it too. We are going to do a movie episode and a video game episode coming up. Yeah. We will still talk about photography in both of those too. Like, if it's applicable,
we'll find news and
exactly.
whatever. Yeah.
But we're big nerds and we want this podcast to kind of go to everything. So like next season, like I said, we have a lot of really cool things planned for next season. We have competitions, we have giveaways. Hopefully we're going to have merch by then.
Possibly by the end of this season, we'll have some other things too.
That would be cool too. Hopefully by next season, we'll be caught up on this season. We'll have a logo. That'd be cool too.
Christmas special.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. And we still have to do my buddy Paul's photo critique as well. He agreed to do it online, which is great. He just had a kid. Congratulations to you. I just had it. It was a while ago. Congratulations. Another reason why I haven't bothered you with it because you have a kid. You brought new life into the world. I'm not trying to take away from that.
Do not.
But if you guys want us to do critiques, that's cool. It's a set price. It's a flat fee. It's not a big deal. We split it. And it just, we'll go over your pictures and we'll be very honest about it.
It's literally like what we just did.
Exactly. Yeah. If you don't want it on the podcast, we won't do it on the podcast. We will make you a video or we'll sit down on like Discord or something and we'll talk with you 1-on-2 there or 2-on-2 or however many. But just something to keep in mind if you guys want that too. It's an option, so it's there.
Yeah. A lot of fun stuff.
I agree.
Keep this going on as long as we can.
I'm
probably
down.
Forever. Yeah.
But even if one of us move away, we can still do because there's like the live thing. We can still do it online via wherever.
Yep.
I can't wait for next season. I'm fucking stoked on some of the stuff we've been talking about already. I really am. This season's been great, but this is just a learning curve for us.
Right.
You guys have made all this.
Yeah, we'll do everything. And I'm glad you guys are on here for the journey.
Absolutely. You guys have made all this possible. So seriously, like every comment you guys leave, every view you guys have on everything that we do is fully appreciated. We answer every comment ourselves. We don't have anybody that does that for us. When you see something written, it's either by him or me.
It'll say -DJ or -Mike.
Yep. And it's always us. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as it's going, no matter how famous we get, I would rather not hire somebody to do that for us.
Right.
I'll take the time and go through and respond.
I will comment. Yeah.
Yeah. We love you guys. We appreciate it. Made it this far again. You guys are super awesome. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Episode 36.
Thanks for the critique. Appreciate it. I'll carry on with the film Moody Stiff.
I would love to also. Oh, that was another thing. I would love for you and me to do, like a top 10 portfolio.
We should
critique
go into
between
the
us.
Archives. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go into the archives.
We can do we'll have one episode where I show my 10 favorite landscapes, your 10 favorite landscapes, and then we'll do another one, my 10 favorite portraits, your 10 favorite portraits. We can go through them. You guys can leave comments, stuff like that too. I think that'd be a lot of fun, actually. We should lay each other bare to make you guys feel comfortable to do the same thing, because like I said, we're not doing this maliciously.
Right.
So
Maybe next week.
that'd be cool.
We'll see. Yeah.
Definitely. We got a lot
If
of
we don't
cool
have a
guests
guest,
coming too. Yeah.
if we do have a guest, then we won't do this. But if we don't have a guest, we'll have photo set. So
Yeah, it'd be perfect.
be fun.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you made it to the end. You're awesome. And we'll see you next week.
Later.